demonstration of how to put yourself into a video game level in class here. So I've got the actual text version of these instructions in this folder, which if you take a look at it, first point is if you want me to email you your photos, I want you to send me an email if you want your photo sent to you so that I can do that for you. And then save it on your H drive. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a website that I find is useful for this particular feature. It's got some other things in it as well. It's called photofunia. What I like about photofunia is some of these things would look great as pictures. In fact, if the one we're going to look at today is going to be a picture frame. And when you get to the picture frame one, you can do a frame, and I would suggest that you create the frame with a square edge, not one of these ones that's fluted, because the variations in that are going to be a little bit weird to put into your game. So grab the one with a square edge I'm highlighting here. You get to put your name or something there at the bottom, so I'm just going to put in a placeholder of student just to represent. You can put your name there. And where it says simulate canvas painting, this is kind of cool because it gives you this inked over effect as though it was painted by a Renaissance person. Notice it's fairly tightly cropped around the head, and then click on the word choose photo. Upload from PC. And if need be, navigate to your H drive and look on your H drive for the picture of yourself that you set up. This one might work. I could just grab this one and try it. It's got no background on it, but that might look kind of weird. We'll see. I'm going to click on crop. Looks like one of those fathead things you'd see at a game. I'm going to click on go. And there's a workable image. It's got nice square edges. I don't have to worry about that. It's got my representation, it says student. And now what I'm going to do is click on download large. You'll notice it puts it in my downloads folder here, which I can actually look at in the folder. And I can get to this particular generated image. For the time being, I'm going to just set that to the side. And I'm going to switch over to my Unreal editor. And I've got a starting point here that's just we've been playing around with. So to bring this image in, it's pretty simple. Just bring up a content browser window. Put yourself in the folder that you're working in. As a quick reminder, if you don't already have a folder with your name, you should set one up. I shouldn't be down in the materials folder though. Let me escape from there. Go back to the content folder, and at that point, I'll create a new folder called student. And remember, you can change the color on that and make it a favorite. But that way I can keep track of where I'm putting this. Now I have the window open where I grab this object from photofunia, and I'm going to drag it in here. It's going to import it as a texture. A couple of things you could do with the texture in the new world of the current version. You could just create some geometry and place it on it, but I'm old school. I like to do a right click and create a material from it. And I'm going to rename it MAT for material, and I'm just going to put painting. So I've got basically an image that could be used on a painting as a material. This is the one you would drag out to the scene. And you can put that on a piece of geometry, or you could put that on a static mesh. So let's do one of each. I'm going to get into my basic static meshes here. And I'm just going to grab a cube just for a plaything and put that pretty close to where my spawn is. I'm going to grab this material and put it on there. And it pretty much sizes up so that if I were to, match the proportions of the image, it would look a little bit better. But if I click on play, there I am in my video game. Okay. So that is as easy as that. You can put yourself into a game. Of course, this doesn't have to be this wide. You can either directly change the properties or get in here and scale it appropriately. And it could be very, very thin, not so thin that it's inside out. And if you place that on a wall somewhere, it would just look like a decorative element, and people might run past it and not even realize that that's you. So that's using just a standard picture. Let's take it one step further, again, leveraging photofunia, because you can actually put yourself into a pose that might be interesting or appealing. Here we go. Let's try this one, Knight with Sword. So if you were doing a sword and board game or something like that, this would be the image that you're going for. Let's go ahead and choose a photo again, upload it from the PC. We'll grab this one. This is fine. I believe it's just going to crop on the face anyway, so it's probably good to use a different version of it. So even though I've got a lot of extra content here, when I click on crop, in that instance, it knows what picture, it knows where it's going. And if I click, there's no options on here. Sometimes there are. Click on go. And there I am as a knight. So this is a two-part step. So now I'm going to save this image as, I'm going to save that to, not on that student's drive, but I'm going to save it in my pictures area. And I'll call it Sir Judge. So now I got an image called Sir Judge, but now I can go back into the frame that I had done before, and I can actually put it into a frame. So you're kind of doing one within the other. So I'm going to choose the photo here. I'm going to grab the one from my photos called Sir Judge. Open that. Of course, I'm not going to need all of this in here, so I'm going to do it a little bit more like this. Do crop and go. I didn't change it from, oh, it still says student, so that's okay. And there I am as a knight, ready to go into my video game level. Again, click on the large to download it. Show that in the folder. So now I've done it like one step further, and creating a material out of that is as simple as dragging the, let's make sure we're looking at the date modified as top. First you grab texture, then you create a material, MAT for material. Got my painting, and I can plug that into the same piece of geometry I already had in here if I can find it. There it is over there. Just reassign that, click on play. Now I got to get over there. F8 to eject myself temporarily. So I can click this out of the way. F8 to repossess the pawn. And let's run over there and see how Sir Judge the Knight looks. You know, depending on what your game is themed, you might be able to come up with something kind of fun. It's certainly optional, but then if you put that into any of your pieces, including your portfolio pieces, it's a way of having you and or your name or your image and have your maker's mark in there. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Yep. You can put whatever image you want. If you asked me, send me an email, I'll send you the picture. You can just put that picture in native. But this was fun, you know, and you can create yourself. You can make yourself an Iron Man. You know, there's all kinds of fun stuff you can do. We're kind of in that Halloween dress up mode where people might be interested in